Welcome to the Book of Days Project. Today is January 17th. And on this day was born Baron de Montfaucon, an antiquary in the year 1655. Archibald Bauer, historical writer, 1686. Johann Wolfgang Theophilus Mozart, musician, in the year 1756. Dead, John Ray, naturalist, 1705. It's the feast day of Saint Anthony, patriarch of monks. In the year 356, he was expired. Saint Anthony Antonius, reputed as among the earliest of anchorets and commonly called the patriarch of monks, was a native of Egypt, born about the year 251. After leading an ascetic life for some time in his native village, he withdrew from human society and took up his abode in a cave. His abstinence, his self-inflicted punishments, the temptations of the evil one, the assaults of demons, and the efficacy of his prayers are all narrated by Saint Athanasius. His manner of life was imitated by a great number of persons who occasionally resorted to him for advice and instruction. Antonius seems indeed to have been the founder of the solitary mode of living, which soon extended from Egypt into other countries. During the persecution under Maximianus, about the year 310, some of the solitaries were seized in the wilderness and suffered martyrdom at Alexandria, whether Antonius accompanied them, but was not subject to punishment. After his return, he retired further and further into the desert, but went on one occasion to Alexandria in order to preach against the Arians. The temptations of Saint Anthony have, through Saint Athanasius' memoir, become one of the most familiar of European ideas. Scores of artists, from Salvator Rosa downwards, have exerted their talents in depicting these mystic occurrences. Satan, we are informed, first tried by befuddling his thoughts to divert him from the design of becoming a monk. Then he appeared to him in the form of successively a handsome woman and a black boy, but without in the least disturbing him. Angry at the defeat, Satan and a multitude of attendant fiends fell upon him during the night, and he was found in his cell in the morning, lying, to all appearances, dead. On another occasion, they expressed their rage by making such a dreadful noise that the walls of his cell shook. They transformed themselves into shapes of all sorts of beasts, lions, bears, leopards, bulls, serpents, asps, scorpions, and wolves, every one of which moved and acted agreeably to the creatures which they represented. The lion roaring and seeming to make towards him, the bull to butt, the serpent to creep, and the wolf to run at him, and so, in short, all the rest. So that Anthony was tortured and mangled by them so grievously that his bodily pain was greater than before. End quote. But, as it were, laughingly, he taunted them, and the devils gnashed their teeth. This continued till the roof of his cell opened, a beam of light shot down, and the devils became speechless. Anthony's pain ceased, and the roof closed again. Trials of Saint Anthony and the temptations. We'll move on now to Saint Anthony and the Pigs, subtitled Legal Prosecutions of the Lower Animals. Saint Anthony has been long recognized as the patron and protector of the lower animals, and particularly of pigs. Quaint old Fuller, in his Worthies, says, Saint Anthony is universally known for the patron of hogs, having a pig for his page in all pictures, though for what reason is unknown, except because, being a hermit and having a cell or hole digged in the earth and having his general repast on roots, he and hogs did in some sort intercommon, both in their diet and their lodging. At Rome, on St. Anthony's Day, the religious service termed the Benediction of Beasts is annually performed in the church dedicated to him near Santa Maria Maggiore. It lasts for some days, for not only every Roman, from the pontiff to the peasant, who has a horse, mule, or ass, sends his cattle to be blessed at St. Anthony's shrine, but all the English scud their job horses and favorite dogs, and for the small offering of a couple of paoli, get them sprinkled, sanctified, and placed under the immediate protection of the saint. A similar custom is observed on the same day at Madrid and many other places. On the continent, down to a comparatively late period, the lower animals were in all respects considered amenable to the laws. domestic animals were tried in the common criminal courts, and their punishment on conviction was death. Wild animals fell under the jurisdiction of the ecclesiastic courts, and their punishment was banishment and death by exorcism and excommunication, nor was the latter a light punishment. We all know how St. Patrick exorcised the Irish reptiles into the sea, and St. Bernard one day, by peevishly saying, "Be thou excommunicated," to a bluebottle fly that annoyed him by buzzing about his ears, unwittingly destroyed the flies of a whole district. The prerogative of trying the domestic animals was founded on the Jewish law as laid down in Exodus and other places in the Old Testament. In every instance, advocates were assigned to defend the animals, and the whole proceedings, trial, sentence, and execution were conducted with all the strictest formalities of justice. The researches of French antiquaries have brought to light the records of 92 processes against animals tried in their courts from 1120 to 1740. And the last trial and execution, that of a cow, took place. The general course of a process was as follows. The inhabitants of the district being annoyed by certain animals, the court appointed experts to survey and report upon the damage committed. An advocate was then appointed to defend the animals and shew cause why they should not be summoned. They were then cited several times, and not appearing, judgment was given against them by default. The court next issued a monitor, warning the animals to leave the district within a certain time under penalty of adjuration. And if they did not disappear on or before the period appointed, the exorcism was with all solemnity pronounced. This looks straightforward enough, but the delays and uncertainties of the law, ecclesiastical law especially, have long been proverbial. The courts, by every available means of delay, evaded the last extremity of pronouncing the exorcism, probably lest the animals should neglect to pay attention to it. Indeed, it is actually recorded that in some instances the noxious animals, instead of withering off the face of the earth after being anathematized, became more abundant and destructive than before. This, the doctors learned in the law, attributed neither to the injustice of the sentence nor want of power of the court, but to the malevolent antagonism of Satan, who, as in the case of Job, is at certain times permitted to tempt and annoy mankind. The prosecution of animals up into the 18th century on the continent. From Chambers' Book of Days, the date January 17th. Thank you for joining us. We will be with you tomorrow, the 18th.